Once upon a time there was a queen who wanted to throw a grand dinner and ball, and so she invited all of the lords and ladies of the land. A very specific number of lords and ladies. So specific that the queen had decided that she was going to count them as they entered the grand hall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The queen was the 7th guest. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. Well, that wouldn't do. 13, that's a bad omen. Never should you seat 13 at a dinner table. And so the queen, as politely as she could, but also being as superstitious as she was, asked 2 of her more red-blooded guests if they would like to go home. The 2 guests, being absolutely superstitious themselves, left without too much of a fuss. And so the party continued. Well, right around the cocktail hour, the queen had decided that she wanted to count her guests one more time. But this time she was going to be a little more discreet and wait until their backs were turned. And she counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 guests yet again, and that was really odd. But maybe some people had walked in after the receiving line. That is entirely possible. So, again, being polite and yet being extremely superstitious, asked 2 of her more red-blooded guests if they would like to go home. Being superstitious themselves, they left without too much of a fuss. Well, the party was winding up and the band was warming up and all of the dancers were getting ready to take the floor, and the queen was feeling a little odd. So as the dancers circled the room, she decided she was going to count them one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 yet again. This was becoming more than just a coincidence. This was feeling more and more like a bad omen. So the queen, as politely as she could, and again being as superstitious as she was, asked 2 of her more red-blooded guests if they would like to go home. Being extremely superstitious themselves, they left without too much of a fuss. The queen, however, was getting a really bad feeling about this whole affair and decided that maybe she too should go home. But right before she left, she decided to count the guests in through the window as they were being seated for dinner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Upon counting that, the queen went home immediately. Well, the very next day, the queen was sitting down to breakfast, and she read the morning's paper, and she saw a very disturbing story right there on the front page. Apparently, there was a report of her dinner party, a dinner party where they found all of the guests dead, all 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They found all 10 guests dead, specifically blackened from food poisoning.